So thank you, Maciej, for being with us. Do you want to maybe start with giving us a bit of an introduction of your role at Nissan and explaining a bit what your background is?
In Nissan, I'm looking at the part of the team within customer experience, and we are specializing in data engineering, data platforms, MLOps, and data governance. Also building different data science use cases, machine learning experiments, and Gen AI, of course, it's something very close to my heart as well. Historically, I'm in Japan for the last 6 years, so I'm really love again visit Europe from time to time and get experience which you can get in London. On my background, I started my work with data from university time. In reality, I did master's dissertation from sentiment analysis way back many years ago when NLP and Gen AI was not yet in a place, not existing. NLP was very, very fresh, and I was doing it for non-English languages, and that was a little bit more complicated than normal tasks. After that, I worked with a lot of different technology teams, technology stacks, and different industries from healthcare, automotive, finance, real estate, across Europe, Asia, and at the end I landed in Japan. So that's where I am currently with Nissan, and that's probably it from the introduction.
Cool, thank you very much. In terms of then Nissan, could you please tell us a little bit where you think Nissan is in terms of maturity on these topics? When I say these topics, I would say AI, use cases, and generative AI specifically. Where would you see Nissan on that kind of like scale of maturity?
It's definitely exciting topic, and there are lots of areas of potential experiments what we are trying to do. We got teams of skilled data scientists, and like among you guys even who are data scientists, please tell me who didn't use ChatGPT or BART to generate your code. That's something that we are doing now, I think, on a day-to-day basis, of course, with the right level of the governance and security. And that's one of the topics which is very close to my heart. There's a lot of potential that would be possible for companies like Nissan to use it, especially in the customer experience area. I loved some of the low-hanging fruits that were presented just a moment ago, and we are experimenting some of those around some of those low-hanging fruits, more around the POC basis, trying to understand really what the value generative AI could bring, how it can help to expedite certain areas of the business. There's still a lot of questions. It is like wild topic, really positively wild topic, but there's need of proper oversee of it. And that is something I think that we'll be concentrating for next closest time really before it will go really to the wild. And I believe that we can work it together also with help with Artifact and as well as such solutions like Domino.
And I would like to pick your brain on a couple of things that were mentioned by Shell actually earlier. I think I liked your point around governance. And the fact that actually the second point is around scalability and productionizing things with AI, because you've mentioned proof of concept and it's sure that probably generative AI and AI is a world of experimentation first. On those two topics, do you have any views of what would be maybe your perspective personally? I'm not sure you can speak for the whole company because Nissan is huge, but at least from your own perspective in terms of governance, in terms of, simply, let's say, living the world of possible to everyone in the organization versus maybe having some rules around that. What is your perspective there?
I loved some of the materials when speaking with team in Domino, showing really the maturity of the generative AI through what is available publicly, what you can do, how it can evolve to certain APIs which are public, then your private APIs, and how certain platforms and solutions can allow you to host the models and Gen AI solutions on-prem, where you can get more control over it. I think one of the elements which is always making people around very nervous from the list, which was earlier on the screen, of issues, if I say, with Gen AI, is the hallucination, how well it will be responding in a customer-centric situation. So this is something which need to, from my personal perspective, be properly governed. Do you have the right experience? Do you have the right responses? And that's probably my personal experience also being in Japan, where the customer service is very predictable. The responses need to be really on the spot, and there should be no deviation, because that will be the moment when you will lose your customer, you'll lose attention immediately, because the quality needs to be 110%. And if we'll start chatting with the Gen AI chatbot, which will start hallucinating or talking about things which are not helping, then immediately the company will be losing the reputation, will be losing the customers. These are some of the challenges on that part. Another part is in the creativity element. When we are going beyond the text and we are speaking about the different digital assets, how we can ensure that we do not face any privacy issues, how we can ensure that what our algorithm will be developing will be actually not constrained by what was the input to those algorithms. That's something really that I'm not sure if there's yet a solution for it. There's possibility to train those certain models on controlled data sets, which will be in a public space. And then how it will work, how it will be used, that's another part of the governance. On the other side, what I love from Gen AI, and this is again another low-hanging fruit, and that's an element of where my passion is also around, is synthetic data. That's an amazing topic which could be explored for so many areas. It's not only the security, which you've seen in here on the slides, how you can secure certain situations, how you can create the data which look alike the real data, but it is great opportunity to look at the use cases when you don't have a data, or your data sample is actually too small when to make any tests, like fraud detection, adversive events. It is really powerful in such situations. And that's, I would say, the bad and the good if we are asking about the data and the Gen AI and the governance from my perspective.
How do you go about tools? I mean, I wanted to get a bit your perspective there, because I mean, one of the questions I raised at the beginning, and which is probably a very open question, which is, we've got some of the tools that are very well known because they have made a little bit, their name in the press. Do you think, as a company that needs to, produce generative AI for their own needs, but also, as you've said, making sure that they can know where the data goes and they can be sure about where the answer is going to come from? They need to do both sides of the coin, as you've rightly said. What is your perspective on tools? Do you think companies like Nissan are today equipped with the right tools to do it? Do you think they need to produce some of that tool, some of that tooling to kind of like put the control at the beginning, put the control at the end? And do you trust today that the market is mature in terms of tools offered to companies to achieve that?
Right. That's a very interesting question, and got, I would say, many layers on top of the simple tooling, because whenever there are tools, there are also processes, and tools need to match the processes in that situation. Are there tools available? Are we equipped with the tooling? I believe yes. That's something that we are equipped. Are there processes in place? Also, there are in place which are helping and supporting it. Again, from the list of scary things, I don't think that in all of the situations, all of the processes will be mature enough. And when we are speaking about the tooling and also ML, I like to see it from two angles. One is who is really using the tools, how those tools are empowering people who are doing the job. And then within those elements are two angles, because we'll got data scientists, machine learning engineers, statisticians. Some of them will be code first, some of them will be not code first, and we'll need to properly enable both of the groups. And then you will get the business who will be consumer of it and who will need to understand it. And we really, in our jobs, need to move away from providing a black box where Gen AI in many of the situations is simply a black box given to the business. And that's a question where the tools and processes, in a way how the Gen AI is being generated, presented, consumed, could become less a black box and more understandable process.
And Athena made a very good point at the beginning, saying that probably Gen AI makes AI very affordable to everyone. Do you think that's a bit the time when we're going to see AI, instead of being let's say the superpower of the data scientists in the organization, becoming actually the superpower of everyone in the organization, and everyone will start doing their own Gen AI, kind of like logic, implementing their own day-to-day practices? And do you see it as a good thing if that's the case, or do you see it a bit of as actually something that is creating a distraction?
Definitely it's a great thing, I would say. It's not only a good thing because it will allow to increase the data fluency within the organization. I've been in London with Nissan last year. I came just again after a year, having a big conference, speaking with the CMOs around all of the markets. We spoke about different data use cases, different ways how data science, AI and ML can empower business. And the fluency among those business people is amazing. There are so many pockets within organization that are talking data, who are using different solutions to build the both value for business using data and AI, but also how they are consuming it, which is amazing. And this is really bringing up the challenge for functions in which I'm working, because in Nissan I'm looking after a global customer experience, and this is where we always need to work together with all of those partners who are either pushing us to do more and do better, or are asking for consultancy to advise what are the best practices. So I think it's really amazing thing, because it's adding a little bit of tension in here, that we are not the only ones who knows how to do the data, and we are not the all oracles, but it is keeping us in check to really have a valid conversation and bring up the maturity of the organization, and at the end the value that we are producing.
What do you think about make or buy in generative AI? Do you think it's a world of they're actually going to be, because like we've seen it, right? Like a lot of softwares, to name a few, Salesforce is putting generative AI in their product. You know, like all of them are putting, you know, like Google Search, and we've done a conference recently about Google Search putting generative AI in it. So you think it's just going to be one of the things that we're going to buy from the market? Or do you think it's going to be the time when Nissan, for example, to come back to Nissan, it's actually essentially about you're going to make your own?
I believe today anyone can make their own Gen AI, because there's a vast of available algorithm, and it is possible to be done. So that's the one thing. How robust there will be, that probably where the scale of the buy element will be coming, when those algorithms will be becoming bigger. I feel personally that it will be a mix, depending on the situation, because there will be situations where probably the buy option will be working better. There will be situation when the make your own solution will be working better, and that will be a case probably of what type of data you will work with. And again, scary things that could happen with Gen AI in those situations. That's probably simple as it is on my side.